my name's Rachel and I'm here today to do my April wrap up. This will probably go up late, but it's fine. I read a total of around 10 things in April and had a pretty successful reading month, I think. I didn't read that many books, and then one of the last days of the month was the Jews 24-hour, and I read a few things then, so it's kind of brought me up to a good standing. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about all the books I read in April today. So the first two books I'm not really going to go into because they were rereads for me. The first was Golden Sun by P.S. Brown. This is the second in the Red Rising trilogy, and I loved this again. I adore this series and I gave this 5 stars. The other one was Jane the Fox and Me, which is a graphic novel, and I read this during the Jewish 24-hour and I gave this 5 stars again as well. If you want to hear any more thoughts on it, I will link the vlog I did of that above because I talked about all the books there, which I'm also going to mention those books now. So another book that I finished and I gave 5 stars was the Harry Potter A History of Magic that the British Library have done. Not going to show it you because I just put all my Harry Potter books here the other day and sorted it all out, so I'm not going to disturb this whole situation. But yes, that one was 5 stars and was amazing. And then the other things that I read specifically for the readathon were Arrival by Sean Tan. This is a silent graphic novel and is beautifully driven. There's a bit of magical realism in it that I found a little bit difficult at times, but I did really enjoy it. So I gave this 3.5 stars, I think. And yeah, I did really love the format of this, and I thought it was really interesting. It kind of set it apart from other graphic novels, but it did mean that I didn't connect as much to the characters because obviously there weren't words there. So yeah, that held it back a little bit, but it was still really good. I also read this beautiful poetry collection. This is Hold Your Own by Tempest, that I now think is my favourite poetry collection. I'm in love with this book, and like I said on the vlog, I'm not really going to talk about it that much because I adored this and I really want to do a separate review of it. So I gave this 5 stars. This is now probably my favourite poetry collection. I will at some point give you some more info on that. So there's that one. And then the other book I had to show you for the readathon was Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I've still not finished this yet. I didn't finish it in April. Oh, there's a receipt there from the airport. Anyway, so I've read 129 pages of this and I read this on the day of the readathon. So yeah, kind of counts, kind of doesn't, I don't know. Another book I have to mention is North by Seamus Heaney. I finished this during the readathon, but most of it I read during the month of April. I gave this 2 stars overall. It was pretty bad. The second part brought it back a little bit and got it 2 stars, but even then it just wasn't great. I think I hope to enjoy it a lot more because I'd read some of the poems before and I really thought I was going to enjoy it, and especially in a month where I read this amazing poetry collection, this just in no way compared. So there's that one. And then the other books I read were mostly audiobooks actually, so I will insert pictures of them somewhere around. But yeah, these are books that then weren't for the readathon and weren't rereads, which there weren't many of because a lot of my books are rereads or for the readathon. So the first book I want to mention is The Arrangements by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I gave this 2 stars. This is basically like a day in the life of Melania Trump, and it is, I think it's after Trump has been made president, and it's basically like a day in the life, like what does she do during the day? She has like a yoga session or Pilates or something, and she finds out one of the daughters doesn't really like her dad, and like just everything about it is pointless, and I don't really think it delivers any sort of message. Like there's no overriding like sense of what Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie is actually trying to get across by this. I just thought it was pointless. I didn't understand why it was written. To be honest, I've given it 2 stars, but I think actually it's more of a 1 star. Yeah, just really unnecessary. I just don't get why it was written. so didn't enjoy that. Then the next audiobook I listened to was The Amazing Book Is Not on Fire, and this is by Amazing Phil and Dan Howell, I think he's called now. It used to be Dan Is Not on Fire, hence the name of the book. And this is a book that's meant to be read. Like, it's a book with lots of pictures and scripts and things like that, and it's quite funny because they voice the audiobook, they like perform it together, and at the beginning they're like having this conversation like, we didn't really write this book to be an audiobook. I feel like if you read it as an audiobook you might miss out on a lot. We'll have to try and make up for that. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was more like a podcast for me. I like listening to things as I go to bed, and one of the things I've listened to a lot in the past is like comedians and funny people doing podcasts of like just little conversations like the Ricky Gervais ones, and this just felt like one of those to me, so it was great to just listen to when I was going to bed. So I gave this 3 stars. It's not like life-changing or anything, but it's just fun, so that was enjoyable. Then the next book I read I gave 4 stars, and that was City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. This surprised me because the other books in the series I've given like 3.5 stars I think to both of those, and they've both been very much like, I've enjoyed the story and it's plotted along and stuff, but it's not been amazing, like it's not dragged me in. Whereas this one, after you got about 100 pages in, really like ramped up the tension and kept it going through the whole book, and actually made me want to pick it up a lot more than the others have done. So I gave this one 4 stars, and it's definitely my favourite that I've read in the series so far, and I really am understanding what people are talking about when they're saying that Cassandra Clare kind of grows as a writer as you go through this series. I can definitely see that happening, and I really enjoyed City of Glass. This was really good. I didn't read this copy, I read a copy in Switzerland, but I have this copy which is soon to be unhauled in another video. But anyway, yeah, so this was good. I gave this 4 stars, which I was quite surprised at. And then the last book that I want to mention is As I Descended by Robin Talley, and this is a YA retelling of Macbeth and the story of Macbeth. I didn't know it was a retelling of Macbeth when I picked it up. I was just like, oh, this is a book that sounds good, because it was on audiobook. This is one I definitely wanted to carry on with, and after like the first hour of the audiobook you can definitely tell it's a Macbeth retelling. Some things that I loved about this book is the change of relationships. So we have the Macbeth and Lady Macbeth characters are both women who are in a lesbian relationship. This is all taking place at like a school, university type place, and it's still ruthless, like people still get killed, which once I found out it was a Macbeth retelling, there was a part of me that was like, oh, is this gonna go really under and just like not kill anyone because it's a YA? But no, went for it. I was quite happy with that, and it was really cool. Like, it was really cool how they did like the prophecy of the 3 witches. So right at the beginning we have this like Ouija board that kind of predicts, and then throughout the book it is separated into parts. Or is it the chapter titles? I think it's parts though, I can't remember. And it's all part of one of Macbeth's soliloquies in the book, and in the play, sorry. And it's so well written, and I really enjoyed it. There's so much representation. There's like Spanish representation, there's a same-sex female couple, a same-sex male couple. I would say we have like the main character, and then we have the second character to her, but definitely in there with the main character, and with her, who she is physically handicapped. She basically can't walk, and well, she can, but she has to use crutches to walk. And what I enjoyed is that it does multiple perspectives, and whenever it was from her perspective she would talk about her disability, and she would talk about how it would be hard to walk, sometimes she'd get tired, or how like there were times when someone would be leaning, like a girlfriend would lean on her, and she would be like trying to hold herself up and trying to hold this girl up without being like, my legs are absolutely dying right now, I need you to get off me, I need to sit down. And I thought it was really nice how it was kind of worked into the story, and yeah, it was really cool. And I really, really enjoyed this book. So I gave it 4 stars. There was some slight stuff that I didn't enjoy. There's like, instead of the witches, there's like ghosts throughout the story, and the one thing that I really didn't enjoy is at times the ghosts kind of have a lot more control than the witches ever did. The witches in Macbeth, for me, like set off what happens, but also you're left questioning, like, would this have just happened anyway? Because Macbeth did want what he wanted, and they might have facilitated it, but I feel like he would have done it anyway. Whereas in the retelling, it's definitely more on the ghosts. So that was like one thing that I was like, oh, I like that about Macbeth better. So I gave it 4 stars, but I would say it's really, really fantastic, and I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. So definitely want to pick up more of Robin Talley's work. And Robin Talley is also, I don't know how she identifies, if she's like a lesbian, bisexual, whatever, but she is married to another woman, so it's definitely like some own voices representation for the same-sex relationship. So yeah, I thought that was really cool. So that's all the books that I read in April. A lot of audiobook, and there's going to be a lot of audiobooks this month because I'm getting rid of my BookBeat account and switching to Audible just because it's like £5 cheaper, and I'm cheap, so I'm swapping over. But there's about 15 books that I've still got on my list that I want to read, so I have until the 28th of May, which is when I'm paid up till on BookBeat, to read everything. So next month is definitely going to be another month where it's all audiobooks in my wrap up, but hopefully I will get to all of them because they are all books that I really, really want to get to. So yeah, that was the video. I'm pretty sure I rambled for a lot of it, but who cares. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!